Hello, this is Wes Hickey, Chair of the Department of Educational Leadership at the University of Texas at Tyler, and in this Weekly 5 we want to talk about the resume. And the reason we want to talk about the resume is that this is the time of year when many individuals are beginning to look for jobs, and you want to make sure that this first step in the process is something in which you put together the best product you possibly can. When you go into any kind of situation like this, you want to make sure that your resume, when picked up, hopefully goes into the pile that they definitely want to talk to later. But if nothing else, you go into the pile in which they want to at least look at it again and determine if you're going to be the right fit for their organization. So let's look at a resume. Here we have at the very top, you see a red line, you see some little blue lines dividing things out. And the reason those are in place is that research shows that if you have a little bit of color in your resume, and they mention in particular red and blue, then it's going to stand out some, and so it becomes a very positive thing to have that in your resume. Second thing there, you see easy contact information, including cell phone, email address. You want to make sure that when you are creating your resume, you have a very easy way to contact you. This is not the time to be private. You want them to be able to get in touch with you very quickly if they want to have an interview or ask for more information somewhere down the line. The other part there is just very general stuff, educational background, professional experiences. Everyone has to have that, and that's something that needs to be up front and center so that anybody can see what's going on. But some things that I don't always see on resumes that need to be there is something that I call professional experiences that are detailed. And you may not have every little thing that you've ever done on there, but you do want to make sure that you're addressing the job attributes of the job in which you are pursuing. In addition, that you need to give a little more detail when you do something. If you have data that you can put in there to indicate how well something you did went as far as increases in percentages or increased scores or anything down the line, make sure you put it in there. The idea of just putting on a curriculum committee or textbook coordinator is not good enough. You need to make sure you tell why your involvement made a difference in whatever you were doing. Bottom line is that with your resume, you're there to tell your professional story. You need to look at your resume, and if it's not the story you want to tell because you don't have the experiences in place, do some things that help build up on your resume. On the other hand, if it's because the structure doesn't tell it well, then you need to tweak it so that you can tell the story that you want to tell on that. And you don't always have to follow very traditional areas. In fact, I began to look at my resume over time, and I realized it didn't tell all the story that I wanted to tell. And so I began to include comments from students that had come in unsolicited over time, and I felt like it did a better job of telling the type of story that I wanted to tell from a professional point of view. So to look at the art and science of developing your resume, a couple of things. A little color, if you do it very professionally, can make it stand out. Anybody that's going to be hiring somebody has a stack of resumes, and you want to make sure yours doesn't look like everyone else. You also want to make it easy for the organization to contact you. Be very clean and clear and upfront to be able to point out how to get in touch with you. If you can, use data to show the impact of your involvement. You want to make sure you address the skills for the job in which you're applying. If you don't have the skills in place, take time to volunteer over the years. You're building a resume, so as a professional, look at that as you begin to do things within your school. The other part there is that I've seen many times where individuals leave college and they begin to think still, as they've been in the profession for a while, that they ought to have one-page resumes, but that's not true anymore. As a professional educator, your resume can be as long as it needs to be. You've got to make sure that you tell your story. And remember, at UT Tyler, let us know what we can do and inspire and educate, be architects of human potential.